Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you have forgotten, we are here once again to remind you.
Now, here's
Mark
the
wrote a
funny thing,
book.
Sherry. Here's the funny thing. Of course, you're going to forget because you get
Got built-in
consumed
filters.
with life. Like you're so busy just in the moment. You don't remember these things. And so, yeah, we're going to tell you every single morning to remember that what you think is what you get. And it'll roll, and the daily love today is part of that. Like so you'll be all consumed in your life with all of the things that are going on and all of the people in your life and all the stuff, and we're
All the
here to
chatter,
remind
all
you
the
every
mental
day.
chatter in the background, right,
Oh
Mark?
my
So
god,
besides,
well,
besides the circus out there,
yeah,
think about how much bigger the circus is in here.
everything that you've ever experienced is stored in there swirling around and just waiting to be put back into action. Most of it never will be. Some of it will be. And your brain, it's just amazing how your brain works and how just absolutely fantastic it is.
Yes.
And how absolutely awful it is at the same time, because the way that it's comprised, the way that it's made up is very, very much going to drive how you experience life if you are
Yeah.
not sitting in a space of awareness.
Yeah. That's
You're
why I
on
love these
autopilot, which most of the time you are, and like 90% of the time,
90%. Yeah.
you'll get the same stuff over and over again. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Cher?
I was going to say that's why I love doing this every day, is because it is a mental workout, a mental, emotional, spiritual workout. Look at this. As your every morning, your AFA morning with Nurse Mark and Nurse Sherry from the Green Nurses, we're here to bring you that information to remind you, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it. The outside world we can't control. Okay, how cool it is. How it is so cool that we have the capability of going within and controlling our universe within inside of us. And let me tell you, once you're able to control the universe inside of you, the world outside doesn't look as bad. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
No.
You know, we
It
learn how to
really
self.
doesn't. Well, the world outside is just that. It's the world outside. But you're generating your reality in here. So what happens out here is just what happens. There's no meaning to it at all. It's just what happens. You decide every single meaning that's applied. And most of the time, it's not even you deciding. It's somebody else who decided a long time ago and shared it with you, and you just internalized it and made it your belief. So
There we
don't think
go.
you're so unique that you're creating your own reality without having that awareness, because you're not. You're just living
Right.
everybody else's reality that's been planted in that fertile ground of your mind. Oh,
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Beth. I see some other numbers floating up there. So if you haven't said hello to us this morning, please come jump on and say hi. Let us know where you're from. We're so happy that you're here with us.
Oh my
because we
gosh.
are
Monday,
here.
May 10th.
Motivational Monday, right? Manifesting Motivational Monday. You know,
Right.
Mark and I are showing up here every day because we love you all. We want you to feel hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We want to bring you those
We
high
want you to get
vibes.
high. We really do.
Yeah, we do. We want you to get high.
Do.
What is the
Good
what
morning.
good morning. Wake up and
They're Knox in the house. All right, guys, we're going to step right into the daily love.
Daily love.
Come from the first fact is you're absolutely fucking amazing, exactly as you are. No need to change anything. Okay. We're going to hammer that from now until the time I exit this particular physical reality. And we're just going to continue to tell you that because you need to get that. You need to understand just how amazing you are.
Yes.
Now, here we go. We're going to get on to this daily love. And it's a good one this morning. I really like it. And guess what? Guess what it's about, Sherry?
Love.
Close. Well, yeah, you could say it's about love. It's about self-love, but it's about thinking. Oh my gosh, it's always about thinking.
thinking.
It is,
Think,
because
think,
that's the
think, think.
beginning. It is your reality, is what you think it is. This is called divine order. And so it starts, the changes I wish to see must begin with me. How many times have I wished that my life could be different? How many times have I prayed for more harmonious relationships, greater peace of mind, more robust health, or deeper satisfaction in my life? Today, I realize that all the changes I wish to see start with me at the level of my thinking. As I focus on harmony, peace, wholeness, and joy, these thoughts begin to flower in my consciousness. I remain engaged with the world as it is. That's the key. The world as it is. The world is what it is. Get attuned to a more enduring spiritual reality. In time, I noticed that my outer world is reflecting my inner state because I am creating my life from the inside out. Through the power of divine order, I bring my dreams to vivid life. Oh,
Wow.
I just get a chill. Oh,
I love that. That's
so
really
true.
divine order.
It
It
is
is.
all divine order. So
Here's it.
you are the creator of your life. There is no life outside of you. Oh, so how much opportunity and power is in that awareness? Once you get that, it's the
I know.
starting point. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. You can become aware and you can have that starting point, and life can still remain the same because, again, we are just wired to do the same things over and over again, whether they're beneficial or not, because at a very root level in your brain, that reptilian brain
The reptilian brain.
looks at yesterday and says, hey, we made it. We woke up another day.
Yes.
We better do exactly what we did yesterday because that was successful. And
Yes.
we're alive still today. So whatever it was that we did, we're going to do again today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the part that's so cool about all of this and how we can tie it right into cannabis,
Which
right? Cannabis can help with our thoughts, can help with our thoughts, can help with our feelings, can help with our perceptions, right? When I first started in a lot of patients, this is why we talk about the hope, inspiration, and growth and healing, right? So this plant brings about divine order. We're talking about divine order. Think about what it can do in our body. It brings about divine order in our bodies.
Right.
Our 11 organ systems, our immune system, all the neurotransmitter signaling systems, right? It starts that divine order, the divine orchestration, and the plant works our body just like that. I love that. Bring it right in. Motivational Monday. I gotta bring the plant
Monday,
right.
Baby. You gotta tie it back in. Good morning, Brian. You really have to. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning, everybody.
So good to see you. Yeah, so you know what? We can tie it back into that because the plant does allow for the opportunity to have a different consciousness, to change those neural patterns that are so set in your mind, like just set. That's the way it is. It's like the 80-20 rule. I was talking to Jamie, my wife, about the 80-20 rule. If you haven't read that book, the 80-20 rule, you should really read that. It's fascinating. And I can't remember what Pareto's principle, or it was some persons that first came up with this. And that is, it's an 80-20 split. Like, 20% of your carpet in your home gets 80% of the wear. 20% of the people in health, 20% of the people of health in healthcare consume 80% of the services. Like, you can apply this 80-20 rule in almost anything, and it's uncanny. It's like a universal law. It's uncanny.
Okay, I can't wrap my mind around it for some reason.
Yeah. Right. So it's the 80-20 rule. I think the carpet analogy is the most easy one to grasp.
All right,
think about the carpet in your house.
Yep.
You've got shit set up all over the house, furniture all over the house.
Yep.
Where does the carpet wear out?
Where the stuff's sitting on it.
No, it never gets anywhere. Nobody ever walks on it.
Well, I'm just thinking about all the indents from the heavy furniture.
No, tiny little indents. But that well-worn path
No,
from
that's
you
true. The
walking from the
well-worn path.
kitchen to
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
couch, that
Right.
sucker gets worn. That's the 20%. So it's
Okay,
that
all
like
right.
it's the same with your brain. Like 80% of it doesn't get any use. 20% of it is well-worn pathways that you
There
use
you go.
all the time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm
That's
like,
it.
I'm not getting that. I need
That's it.
another puff. That's what
Yeah,
I
right.
might need a
Yeah,
okay,
20% of
that
the
makes
puffs
sense.
give you 80% of the awareness. Ooh, I like that. All right. Yeah. Well,
That's a great one.
we're off to a good start today. It's
We
Monday,
are.
May 10th, 2021. It's the only one we're gonna get.
That's
Today is
it.
a working and a packing day for me.
Oh, that's
So
right. When are you
yeah, I'm
coming back?
taking all this
Tomorrow?
stuff down. Yeah, we're gonna pack and we leave tomorrow. Yeah, first thing.
Tomorrow morning on the road after the show.
Oh yeah, baby,
Woo-hoo.
on the road
Back to
again.
Massachusetts to the Green
Yeah.
Nurse Farm,
Uh-huh.
where we're going to be having lots of fun stuff going on this summer.
Oh my gosh, we've got a Green Nurse event we're planning. It's gonna be
Mhm.
fun down on the
In
farm. Big
in
stuff happening.
Massachusetts, and that's interesting too. That's what's bringing us in to
Today, let's
today's
wrap it right back in
topic. We're going to
today.
wrap right back in. Yeah.
Right. So here we
So,
go. Why don't we dive in? This is Motivational Monday. We talk about the NCSBN
yeah, what
guidelines.
motivates us? What
Yeah.
motivates us as cannabis nurses? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why do we
Mhm.
show up every day? Well, we're pretty darn excited that the National Council State Boards of Nursing came out with a call to action in 2018. So the National Council State Boards of Nursing is the nursing regulatory board that puts on the NCLEX exam, where all nurses must take in each state in order to be licensed. So they put out guidelines in the Journal of Nursing Regulations for medical cannabis. And they identified 6 essential areas of knowledge about cannabis for all nurses, nursing students, and advanced practice nurses. So there's 6 of them. We've been covering a variety of them, but we're going to go over the number one on the list, which is the nurse shall have a working knowledge of the current state of legalization of medical and recreational cannabis use. So we started covering on Throwback Thursday the history of Massachusetts. So what I thought we could do is, because this is part of the NCSBN, is it's leading us right up into what's going on in Massachusetts today.
Yeah.
Under the recreational and the medical cannabis laws.
Great idea. And here we are.
Yeah. So here we are. So what we can do really quickly, if you want, Mark, we can just kind of do a quick review, right? Just a quick recap.
Let's set the stage, Sherry.
Set the stage. Okay, Mark, I'm going to let you take this through.
All right. So
history of cannabis legalization in Massachusetts.
Oh my gosh. Massachusetts, I'm Massachusetts born and raised, and we're really the first in a lot of things, we're a huge part of the revolution. And we were the first state to criminalize cannabis in the 1900s. Yeah. So a lot of firsts, some of them not great. This one in particular.
No, horrible one.
At the time, it made sense. At the time, it made sense to the people in Massachusetts that we should do that. So in 2008, Mass decriminalized the possession of small amounts of cannabis. So a little bit of movement. They're saying, it's not so bad. Okay, 2012, question 3. 63% of the voters approved of medical cannabis in Massachusetts. All right, people are starting to get a little bit of enlightenment. Medical cannabis becomes legal, and we were the 18th state to legalize medical cannabis.
Right.
Then we fast forward to 2016's question 4 in the referendum was, do we want to have a recreational and adult use market? And the people said yes. So 21 years of age can legally buy up to 1 ounce at a time and have 10 ounces at home. Imagine that, Sherry. 10 ounces of weed at home. Who knew?
Who knew?
Back in the day, you'd panic if you had 10 ounces at home.
I'd panic if I had 10 joints.
Exactly. Holy cow. All right. So 2018, the very first sale of recreational cannabis in Mass was also the first sale on the East Coast. And really, Sherry, it was so cool. It was purchased by an Iraq War veteran in Leicester.
Yeah.
Yep. In 2018, the Cannabis Control Commission was created to regulate and administer laws regarding the use and sale of recreational cannabis in Mass. And so there's an oversight of the marijuana dispensary application and licensing process, which is the commission's main focus. And Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker which Charlie is not a fan of marijuana. He did not want that law to pass. He's a straight-laced kind of guy. And so Charlie did not want that to pass. And so he wanted them to move slowly and take small steps forward to assure a safe, reliable, legal market. And it's still moving very slowly today.
Right.
You know, from our standpoint, it couldn't move fast enough. But you really do have to understand that we're dealing with people in the positions of power who really are not that educated on anything to do with cannabis. So that's why we're here talking about it on a regular basis. And hopefully some of them will accidentally pop in and see something like this. And or someone will tell them about it or quote it, right? So that's why we would do what we do. That's the motivation, Sherry.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So what are the adult use rules in Mass, Sherry?
All right. So the adult, excuse me, the adult use rules in Massachusetts is that you must be 21 years or older to purchase or grow adult use cannabis.
Yeah.
You need a government issued ID to buy from a cannabis retailer in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
let's just this is a brief moment to talk about what's the experience like at a dispensary, right? So you need to have a government issued ID. You have to have your license. I
go in, you're like
a dispensary. Like I'm in the biz. I don't care. You know, I get it wherever, blah, blah, blah. I hadn't been to a dispensary. I said, Mark, you should probably have a dispensary experience and see what this is like. I swear to God, it was like being in the Marine Corps again. Like I had to go to checklist Alpha. Then I had to go through checklist Bravo. I had to go through this person who put my license into the system. Then I went to this next person that confirmed that that person who did it the first time did it correctly. And I was that person that was on that license. And then I had to get into a line and I had to stand there in the hot sun and wait for my turn to go into the dispensary because we couldn't possibly have a whole bunch of people milling around trying to be euphoric and happy. We had to go one at a time, right? It was fucking ridiculous. Oh my God. But I can walk into a liquor store down the street and get my booze like that. And that is what pisses me off the most, Sherry. I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell you, it pisses me off too. In Kentucky, think about this. I don't know if there's any Kentuckians out there, but there's a liquor store in Kentucky that's like the big giant mall.
Yeah.
And they have bars right in there. People can go with their shopping cart.
Yeah.
Shopping for liquor, and in the center, there's a
let me tell you.
Seriously,
Sherry,
but yeah,
over and over again. I should have sparked up a doob on Friday night, but you know, Friday was the last day of classes for my master's, so I'm done. I didn't have to do homework last night. Oh my God, it was so good.
You were free.
Oh,
you were free,
so
and I saw. And if you go check it out, you had a little glass of bourbon.
I did on Friday night, and Saturday I felt like shit. I felt awful, but I can get my bourbon anytime I want. Anyway, Kentucky is the land of bourbon, right? That is the epicenter of bourbon. So you're talking about this superstore for booze, right? You can get anything you want, but Kentucky does not allow cannabis, my friends.
They don't.
Nope.
So it's really interesting, and that's the part, talking about the dispensary experience. There's a lot of for people that are plagued with stigma, I have to go back. Now it's like nothing. I walk in like it's whatever. And you just kind of get used to the process because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is annoying as hell. Like I remember some dispensaries, you stand in this like landing pad and they lock you in.
You feel shamed.
You feel like really weird.
You feel shamed. Like they want you to feel shameful for wanting to have access to this plant. And look, Carrie Lee, you can grab a margarita from the bar to go in Iowa. Shelly, how about the drive-through liquor stores in the South? Yeah. Oh, here in Florida, drive-through liquor store. Now you're not supposed to drink while you're driving, but damn it, you can go through the drive-through like McDonald's and get your booze.
Well, here you go, Louisiana. When we were in New Orleans. They have like ice cream stores that are liquor bars. Like you walk up, you're outside, you're on the street, you walk up, instead of an ice cream, how about a frozen margarita? How about a mudslide?
Get this, Sherry. In Louisiana, if you want a drink to go, they'll put it in a plastic cup with a straw. As long as that straw has that half-inch of paper on the top of it, it's considered a closed container and you can exit the building. Is that not the most craziest thing you've ever heard?
That's like funny. All right. So,
oh yeah, that's right, Jamie. The bar Friday was giving drinks to go. like there was a group of people who were like, hey, we're going to take off and party in another place, and they're like, oh, you want a to-go cup? And they're like, oh, sure. Yeah. So they had roadies.
Boy,
Okay.
I'm
Anyway,
telling
back
you.
to
Okay, so this is,
Massachusetts and the
well, can
laws.
I
I
tell
had
you
to
what
tell
this
you.
is? It's making me creative for all the fun we can have with cannabis.
Oh,
It's
that's
stimulating
right.
my creativity.
Right. So anyway, let's go back to it. You need a government issued ID and you need to be shamed when you go through the process. But you know what? We're bold. We're going to continue on. There's a limit to how much you can carry. Tell us about that, Cher.
All right. So Massachusetts, this is for adult use consumers. Law permits you to carry up to 1 ounce of cannabis.
Yep.
And you may possess up to 10 ounces in your home. So 1 ounce on you, 10 ounces locked up.
Yep.
There is a limit to how much you can grow. So Massachusetts law for adult use consumers allows you to grow 6 plants in your home for personal use or up to 12 plants for 2 or more adults.
Yeah. Now there's rules and regulations around that. You can't just like willy-nilly put them in the front yard like marigolds. No, you have to fence them in, and people
can't see them. They can't see them from the
it's
road.
so freaking silly.
I know. It's like,
anyway,
is it really free?
You cannot use cannabis in any form, including smoking, vaping, or eating in public places or on federal land.
And that's basically for both. There was a big argument. I was looking in the community as to whether this is also for medical, and it is. It's for both adult use and medical cannabis cannot be consumed in any form in public.
Right. But if you have asthma and you need to use your inhaler, go ahead. We'll
go ahead. Right.
If you have anxiety and you need to take a little puffa huffa, no siree, bub. You're not going to be able to take your medicine. Anyway,
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we want to keep our cannabis in a closed container while on the road. So just like alcohol, it's illegal to have any open container of any form of cannabis, even in the passenger area of the car. So interesting that they do have, they're still doing civil penalties for having an open container of cannabis in the passenger area or if you're on the road. So they were making it you need to keep it in a closed container in your trunk or locked in the glove compartment.
Right, because it's that dangerous. You never know. You know what? Euphoria might break out if that's open in the car. Look out. Watch out.
God, don't even look at it. You might.
Don't even look at it. Drawn to smoke it right there and then. It'll draw you in, and then you'll be one of us, Cherry. One of the healthy, happy, euphoric people.
Healthy.
God forbid that is the case.
God forbid we have more happy people in the world. Jeez,
and whatever you do, don't cross state lines. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I know, huh? That's the first thing people do.
Back in the day in Massachusetts.
The first thing I did with liquor.
Yeah.
Up to New Hampshire.
We'd go to New Hampshire, right, on Sundays, football day, right? Back in the day in Massachusetts, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays. Why? I don't know. I'm waiting for the answer. Why? Because of puritanical ethics and morals that were handed down many, many years ago. Couldn't buy it on Sunday because it's a holy day for some people. And so what did everybody do? They'd go to church. They'd get in their car. They'd drive over the border into New Hampshire, which New Hampshire is the live free and die state that doesn't really allow much cannabis. There's no recreational cannabis. So boop, 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 live free and die.
So live free and die. Exactly. Well, unless you're drinking alcohol.
Live free and die from cirrhosis of the liver. So, so here we go. You could go over the border and pick it up in New Hampshire. So what happened? Massachusetts finally came around and said, hey, we're losing money here, folks. Let's just allow liquor sales on Sunday. So getting back to it, don't cross state lines with marijuana.
Don't cross state lines. And above all else, don't put it in the mail. You cannot send anything cannabis by mail, even to states and countries where it is legal. All right. Lock it up. We say it all the time. If you have more than 1 ounce of cannabis in your home, it must be locked in a secure place. And then we educate to keep it all products in childproof packaging.
And this, Sherry, I can go along with. There has been an increase of kids that are young kids that are ending up in the emergency room from eating their parents' edibles, and it does act differently in a child's body than it does in an adult's
it does.
body. I mean, it's just the way it is. So they shouldn't really be having any access to it.
access to
Now,
cannabis unless
if
it's
some kids
medicinal.
are having some, if there are children that need to use it as a medicine, well, hell, by all means,
Yep.
absolutely. But
Yes,
you should keep it out of the reach of children. Most
I agree.
absolutely. Like you wouldn't pour, you know, bourbon or vodka into a sippy cup and leave it on the table for your kid, right? So you wouldn't leave
Right.
your edibles lying around for them either, because they're gonna
Exactly.
probably open and eat them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the safe consumption, safe use, you know.
Hmm.
The other thing too, which is interesting, and this is, I find this, I've never found too many people doing this, but don't get behind the wheel when you're high. There's a ton of people that get behind the wheel when they're drunk,
Yeah.
but I don't see
Yeah.
this happening very often with people. So
Right.
it's illegal to drive while under the influence of cannabis.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing though too is that
Mhm.
people will ask, or do you use cannabis and do you drive? I said, well, I'm not impaired. So it's like, it's basically using
Right.
cannabis as a medicine below the threshold of impairment. I
Right.
am safe to drive. Right. So
Absolutely.
that's really, really important
And
for
that's
people
the
to understand.
whole theme behind titration, about
Titration,
starting low and going slow
going
and
slow,
increasing over time, and your body reacts positively and you are not intoxicated at
impaired.
a higher level,
Exactly.
with the medicinal level.
Right. So this
Yep.
is so the other thing too is checking the rules where you live and work. So employers, landlords, cities, towns, they may have their own policies in regards to cannabis use.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know,
and you know what? Some of those laws have to do with owning a gun. So if you
right.
are an aficionado and you have weapons, you don't get a medical card. Do not do it. Just going to
Do not
advise
do
you against that, because
Yeah, you
once you
lose your
do
right to
that,
carry.
you're not able to renew your license to carry. That will be affected in a negative way.
Yeah, and that's the part that's just so weird too, is how, they're
Mhm.
discriminated against.
Oh,
They
it's
can
discrimination.
people that have people that have their license to carry can
Yeah.
go purchase cannabis in an adult use shop, but they're being
And they can
discriminated
purchase
against.
alcohol, and they can have a prescription for
Right.
Percocet, and they can do
Is
every other
it,
legally prescribed drug, but they just can't have, they can't have a medical cannabis card.
but that just doesn't make any sense
I
to
know.
me.
I know. So here we go.
Okay,
Landlords
let's breathe through
cannot be
that.
punished by the state for allowing marijuana consumption now, because the Marijuana Justice Act of 2017 prohibits a landlord from being punished under state law for allowing marijuana consumption for activities that are conducted lawfully under the 2017 law and the commission's regulations on the landlord's property.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. There you go. So that's a good one. Out of state
Right.
visitors.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
out of state visitors that come in can purchase adult use cannabis. But the
Mhm.
issue too is they want to make sure, if you're visiting from another state, you must be 21 years or older. You
Yep.
must present a valid government ID to purchase the
Mhm.
cannabis
Mhm.
in the different dispensaries.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. So you
However,
can
here's the other thing too.
enjoy your cannabis locally.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's against the law to transport cannabis across state lines, like we said, whether it's by car, plane, train, boat, or
Yep.
any other mode of transportation. Unable to mail it,
Yes.
blah, 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 including edibles. And this sounds so silly that we're like reading these rules and
I
they
know,
just
but
don't make
you have to be
sense. But we
aware. It's part
have to
of
be aware.
Right. It's part of being in the healthcare space in regard to cannabis. You have to understand the rules and regulations,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah,
just do,
exactly.
because you
Yeah,
need to be able to educate the patient. So we got a
yeah.
couple minutes left here. Let's talk about
Couple
medical
minutes.
rules in Mass.
Medical rules in Massachusetts. So qualifying patients 18 years of age or over
Mhm.
must be approved by a physician and certified by a state before legally allowing to purchase
Right.
a 60-day supply of cannabis.
Right.
And then
Now,
pediatric
pediatric
patients,
patients, right?
yeah,
Under
it's a
the age of
pain.
18, it's an
Yeah,
onerous process. It's
it's
just awful.
horrible.
You have to be
Hmm.
certified by two physicians. Go and try and find two physicians that'll actually say that it's okay. Well, and
Yeah,
it's not really their fault. They're just not educated on it. They don't have that
yeah,
education on cannabis as a medicine, because we're still, again, so early on. It's not in any of the curriculum that they are
yeah.
exposed to. So they're not going to be willing to put, their license on the line, or to give advice that they don't know anything about.
Yeah. So that's why we're lucky here is we teach on the endocannabinoid system. We are teaching everyone all about it, including, pediatricians. It's interesting. I did a medical card on a pediatrician last summer. So, and it was interesting too. He was he was a doctor, a pediatrician, got his medical card. I thought
physicians are people too, right?
I loved it. And so he was really interested, and I'm hoping that he maybe took it to the next level, but you'll never know. But anyways, getting back to.
Gosh, you have really ripped it up here. You got a lot of good stuff. So we're running 30 minutes. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, there's a huge, I'm not going to get into every single one of them, but I'm just going to say there's a huge list
for Massachusetts.
But the thing that I like about Massachusetts is that they also allow other chronic debilitating symptoms that may relate to other conditions.
What are you saying, Sherry? They allow the physician to practice medicine? What?
You know, right? That's the part
shocking. They allow a physician who's trained to be a healthcare provider to actually provide healthcare services.
Yeah,
I'm being facetious, folks, because other states are not like that. Other states
not like that.
These 6
it's
conditions
rigid.
are the only ones that we allow. And you as a physician who's been trained for all those years, we don't trust you to do your job.
Exactly.
We're politicians. So that's we understand this much better than you do.
Right. Right. So that's the part. So Massachusetts really has a really rich, I'm gonna have to say there's a lot of complaints, but they do, they do respect the practitioner's discretion when it comes to these other.
I think it's one of the better programs in the United States. It's not perfect. It's getting better. And again, it takes time for these things. I mean, probably when any shift in society happens, it takes time for everybody to get on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does. So it totally does. So here we are. So basically,
all of you and all of us.
Yes.
So
the part that's great, we're changing the world. Some of the other things in Massachusetts before you wrap it up is they do have home cultivation and hardship cultivation rules. So patients can grow at home, allows you to grow up 6 plants in your home for personal use or up to 12 plants for 2 or more adults. So the registered hardship cultivation allows patients to grow cannabis to yield up to a 60-day supply for personal medical use. And so the practitioners that certify can write for that amount, which is great. So basically it allows. Yes. Yeah.
So Sherry is asking the question. You can't cross state borders, so you can get in trouble with the law if you take your medicine with you on vacation. Yes, that is the truth. You will get in trouble for taking your medication on vacation with you. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But again, we're going to change that.
And we're going to change that. Yes, we are. And there are ways around that. There's ways that you can, safely bring your medicine with you, but you just have to be creative. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm sure they'll all figure it out, Sherry.
They'll all figure it out. Exactly.
You don't want to break any laws. You want to be careful.
You don't want to break any laws. They will. Yeah. It's interesting. And it's a thing.
Law enforcement is there to do what? Enforce laws.
Enforce the laws.
They don't judge. Even if they don't agree with them, even if they don't agree with the laws, their job is to enforce them, and they will do that.
Yeah.
So, what do we got going on?
So don't be packing up your cannabis flower, even if it's hemp flower. Think about this. Hemp flower and cannabis flower. If you bring them with you, they're not going to know the difference.
No, they're not.
They're not going to know the difference. They're going to assume the worst, and they're not going to know. The only difference between them is the lab result.
Right.
That you have. So just be really safe and smart. Don't cross state lines. Be safe. You can't mail it. And really, this is why we do what we do. We are all for cannabis, as you know, but we are also for about the safe consumption, legal risk reduction, and keeping you all safe. Really, really important.
Yes. All
so
right.
What do we have going on? So tonight, really quickly.
A little over today, but you know what?
A little over.
Doesn't matter. We're not on a timer. Life is just happening, Sherry.
It's just happening right now.
We operate outside of time.
In space.
Yes.
Right. So anyways, let's wrap it up.
So we've got shows, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 days a week. Boom. We're here. You're here. It's a love fest. Oh,
And then we
so
have Healy so tonight is our Healy
yep.
webinar. If you go to the Green Nurse events, you'll be able to see that. Next Monday night is our mastermind group, mentorships, which is great. This is for coaches, health professionals, nurses that want to get involved. We're doing a mastermind group every other week. The next one is next week.
Yep.
Frequency Fridays, energy healing Friday mornings, and then Wednesday night we have our show, Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse podcast. Yes. And we are bringing on a really great person. This is a teacher from Florida who literally came to Connecticut, packed her bags, came to Connecticut to work.
Who had a medical card.
Who had a medical card.
To her employer that she had a medical card.
And was fired on the spot.
That she could do up front, being open and honest about medical use of cannabis.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, she moved her whole family up here.
3 children. She got fired.
Yeah.
On the spot.
On the spot. Didn't even start the job. So she'll be our guest on Wednesday. It's going to be a great story. You need to hear it. You need to hear just how ridiculous the moment that we're in here is.
I know it is. It's really crazy because, just even reading what I was reading just now, even though Massachusetts is really liberal, that same old question comes to mind is cannabis really legal? Are we really free? And we're not. And just reading all this just made me go, oh my God, we got so much more work to do with this.
All right. I'm going to have an AFA day. I'm already
I am too.
And Sherry, I love it. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thank you for stopping by.
How you doing, Sherry? Everybody who stopped by, Carrie Lee.
Yes.
You make it what it is. Thanks for being here, Sherry. Really, you got to tell me, babe, what is it all about?
It's all about cannabis and living your best life.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Others to do the
same. Exactly.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning, tonight for Healy, and tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.